Everyone knows LEGO Star Wars, and especially the complete saga, are some of the most fun games to ever exist. But there are so many dang LEGO Star Wars levels that it can become daunting to think about without getting overwhelmed, which is why I'm here today, to go over the top 10 best LEGO Star Wars levels. Starting now. Hold your horses for a second, everyone, because before I start diving into today's detailed analysis of Legos, we need to establish some house rules. This may come as a surprise, but I'm only going to be counting Legos from the complete saga, half because the Skywalker saga is still yet to release, and half because the other Lego games kinda suck. At least in comparison. Just to be clear, I actually still really enjoy LEGO Star Wars 3 and even LEGO Star Wars The Force Awakens, but even if I were to include those games in this list, I'd still end up with the top 10 levels all being from the complete saga, which would just make everyone mad. So instead of that, I'm gonna do the next best thing and just tell everyone I'm not actually including those levels for this list and just hope that they weren't paying attention to the last sentence. Lastly, I will be considering the levels in both free play and story mode for how fun they are, which really should be obvious, but whatever. The 10th best LEGO Star Wars level, without further ado, is the Camino level from Star Wars 2. This is the first level in Star Wars 2 in the original LEGO Star Wars game, but in complete saga, they actually made a brand new original level for the first level and moved this one over to level 2, but that other level sucks and I wish they just didn't make it. Camino as a planet is already really cool, so making a level that takes place here is, oh yeah, cool! This is especially noteworthy because this could be considered as a water level, which is the most oppressed level category minority due to the constant hate and bashing the internet likes to dish out. Now, I'm not going to state my political views on water levels in this video, but I will say that regardless of what kind of level people consider this to be, I consider this to be a fun level. Though now, I really do regret making fun of Kirby's umbrella in the last video. Yeah. Luckily, the level doesn't entirely take place outside in the cold, dark, depressing, thunderstorm-ridden outdoors, and eventually leaves you inside a very fancy and futuristic clone-creating facility. This inside area is always fun to explore and play around in, especially if you're in need of some good old LEGO studs, but sadly, this level seems to have significantly less actual LEGOs incorporated into the level design than most of the others. But I mean, who cares, really? As a kid, I thought these long-necked freaks were fun to mess with, but I always got mad at the fact that you could not unlock these guys in Dexter's Diner for whatever reason, which was actually fixed in the complete saga. Other than general aesthetic though, this level is just one of the most fun because you get to chase down and fight Jango Fett, you get to build a beautiful mosaic of Jango Fett, and you even get to have a disco dance party. Now, some modern day LEGO fans may think that having a level with a disco dance party isn't really that special in today's day and age, but those darn ignorant kids don't realize that this disco dance party is the one that started them all. Anyway, this level is super fun and it's number 10 because, well, I like Jango Fett, I'm not even gonna lie. Darth Vader is probably the most iconic villain of all time. Even if you've never seen Star Wars, you've probably heard of Darth Vader, or at least seen his famous helmet at some point in your life. This isn't just because Star Wars is popular either. Darth Vader is easily one of the most well-designed movie villains of all time, only rivaled by the Joker, who has recently been downgraded to memedom. When setting up a villain to be this scary and powerful, you have to start planning for the moment when the hero eventually confronts Darth Vader, because if you do that part wrong, then you'll literally ruin the perfect villain you've been working so hard on. Of course, this was the movie's job to worry about and not the LEGO games, and I mean, these LEGO games are entirely based on the movies, so I felt like I needed to emphasize this at least a little bit before we got into things. The 9th best LEGO Star Wars level though is Jedi Destiny from Episode 6, where Luke Skywalker confronts and faces Darth Vader himself. This is one of those levels that are already extremely fun normally in story mode, but once you unlock free play, you'll be shocked at how much extra exploration this level has. First of all, there are coins all over the dang place like a dry cleaners that was recently evacuated. Maybe it's just me, but I'm a huge coin fiend and I feel like I need to collect every single individual coin or else I'll cry and throw up. Coins help encourage you to explore areas though, and even in story mode you have tons of secret doors and hidden crevices full of coins to explore through, which to me is really fun. But in free play mode, there's like an entire secret area perfectly designed to convey the evil Sith architecture that you only see in the most discreet and exclusive Sith locations. like Palpatine's shoe closet apparently. The secrets in this level are just so well designed though, because the entire level takes place in a relatively small space, but you can still keep yourself busy exploring everything for as long as you want. Maybe it's just because I don't like when giant levels have mini-kits lazily lying around in just weird places, but I really love Palpatine's shoe closet, which is why I put it at number 9. No wait, I mean I really love Jedi Death. Star Wars 4 being the first ever Star Wars movie to ever release, the first level in the second LEGO Star Wars game to ever release, and the last level in the first LEGO Star Wars game to ever release regularly causes me to have an aneurysm anytime I try to make sense of it. The beginning scene of the movie is perfectly crafted for many reasons that I'll get into another day, but I bring this up because LEGO Star Wars ends up doing it justice despite using only Legos and goofy noises as dialogue. I love playing as these rebel guys for some reason, and being able to blow up 90% of the walls in this level for those sweet succulent Lego coins is a perfect touch. But I'm not talking about that dang level, I'm talking about the LEGO Star Wars 1 version of this level where you play as Darth Vader. In the first LEGO Star Wars game, the only movies you could play through were 1, 2, and 3, but there was this locked question mark door taunting you the entire time you played the game. Eventually, you can unlock it and play the first episode of Star Wars 4, but as the bad guys. The first time I played this level as a kid, my mind was blown. Not only were there just way too many coins to the point where I was stressing about the economy as a toddler, but this is just another work of art that makes Darth Vader feel like one of the most powerful beings in the universe. Like it would take at least 50,000 SpongeBobs to even touch the man, and that's being conservative. You could say it's not fair to compare this level against other LEGO Star Wars levels since this is technically a bonus level or whatever, but I mean, first of all, this isn't even number 1, so clearly it's still fair. But also, this video is my video, so I can actually do whatever the heck I want, and as a matter of fact, I can even move on to number 7 without any further explanation. Of all the beautiful landscapes specifically designed for the Star Wars universe, Cloud City has always been one of my favorites, and that's not just because I'm helplessly addicted to smoking marijuana. Okay, maybe a little. I'm sure I'm not the only one who thinks that though, and I'm even more sure I'm not the only one who loved the Cloud City trap level. And I don't mean that kind of trap. This is 5-5 for anyone who's like me and totally forgot the levels actually had names, and this is another Luke versus Darth Vader situation. The level being pretty is obviously a big bonus, but the main thing is that it's fun to play. Call me a Darth Vader fangirl all you want, but fighting that guy never gets old. Now I will admit, the parts where you just sit there and wait to force some objects towards his general direction are not necessarily the highlights of the level, but I do think that they're overhated amongst the LEGO Star Wars community. What I really enjoy is going from the great outdoors at the entrance to Cloud City into the main area to fight stormtroopers, then into the very obviously evil area where you first run into old Darth Vader down over yonder. This whole level just feels like a fun adventure despite being as short as it is, and having R2-D2 fly around as your companion is always a plus. Also, I don't think I'm telling any tales from school here when I say any level that lets you operate one of these machines here is going to be a level that's generally enjoyed. But if that's not enough to justify this level being one of the best, then you're wrong. But also, the best part is where you get to shove Mr. Vader here out of a window, which in itself should justify any grandiose claims about this level. Which means I could have said way more, man, and I could have justified it too, so you should really be thanking me. Alright guys, look, I'll never be able to forgive Star Wars for how they treated my homie Darth Maul. They made this amazing Sith design and hyped him up to be this cool recurring villain, and then he had like 5 minutes of screen time before getting cut in half and dropped down into an abyss. Before the weirdos start commenting, I am fully aware that they brought him back to life in the Clone Wars cartoon, but to me that's just a huge cop-out. Like, yeah, it's cool they brought him back and everything, but if you think that was the original plan when he was killed off in Star Wars 1, then you're just lying to yourself. Also, I wanted to see more of him in the actual movies, darn it! And I don't mean as a freaking hologram in Solo either. To cope with my endless misery, I always play level 1-6 where I get to fight Darth Maul as much as I want, regardless of how many times he's cut in half and dropped into an abyss. This level is great for all the same reasons the 2 Darth Vader levels were, but to me this level was done even better. Starting the level off with battling Darth Maul and his droid army with comrades of your own sets an adventurous tone that everyone is in on this mission together. Not to mention, this is the final level of Star Wars 1, which adds a certain finality to it, I guess. I don't know, I feel like there's a better word there, but anyway. The exploration in both free play and story mode is also done phenomenally in a way that gives you stuff to explore no matter how you play. These weird giant rooms are also beautiful to look at and play around in, but I'm not sure what the purpose these rooms hold considering their unorthodox design, but these droids are able to summon other droids from the air with a walkie-talkie, meaning there's either support helicopters flying around up there out of sight fights, or at the very least, tons of deactivated droids ready to drop from the sky in battle. The actual Darth Maul fight is also one of the better Star Wars boss battles in terms of being fun, plus when you beat the level, you get to tell your friends that Darth Maul got mauled and watch their faces resist the urge to cringe. Or if you have bad friends, they'll just completely cringe right in front of you, but you know, sometimes it's funny to tell your friends a bad joke and watch them try to laugh. Right guys, it's not just me. With the first 5 levels taken care of, it's time to look at the top 5 best LEGO Star Wars levels of all time. Wait, is that right? Oh yeah, that is right, sorry, I'm just really bad at math, but I must warn you guys that out of the top 5 best levels, there are a lot of entries from Star Wars 3, so you can't get upset with me because of that, because I did let you know in advance, so checkmate, idiot! Actually, I'm sorry man, I shouldn't have said that. That was rude of me, I know. I already regret it. I would edit this out of the video, but... well, clearly I didn't. Starting off the top 5 best levels, we have 3-3, which is General Grievous's level. Now this is a level that I'd be willing to bet is beatable in less than 1 minute if you were just trying to get through. But there is way more optional exploration in this level than anyone would first guess. The fight with General Grievous is pretty fun on its own, since you beat him up until he jumps on a mountain, you shoot him down, and continue the cycle until he meets his bitter demise. But there are tons of secrets hidden throughout the mountain the man likes to jump on for you to explore. Like there's this entire room just sitting here across a bridge that you would never notice without playing through free play mode. I guess we can only assume this is where General Grievous lives, or well, lived, because we did murder the guy. As a level, this is a 10 out of 10 for every reason, but as a house for someone to live in, I don't know, I'd give this maybe a 6 out of 10 just because I guess it meets the minimum requirements for shelter, I suppose, but I'm starting to think the entire reason Grievous turned evil was just out of boredom living in this dump. Number 4 is another level from Star Wars 3, but this one is perhaps the most iconic scene from the entire movie, being the Anakin versus Obi-Wan fight. And for all those non-Star Wars fans, this is the place where Obi-Wan says he has the high ground. I've played this level over 100 times in my life easily, from start to finish, just because it's such a fun level to pick up and play to get your LEGO Star Wars fix. On top of that, this is also an amazing level for grinding those sweet, sweet LEGO coins, which adds even more reason to play it. The beginning of the level has Obi-Wan and Anakin actually working together to escape for old time's sake. Well, I say old time's sake, but really it's because they don't want to die. After going through a few obstacles on the way to the most lava-infested area on the planet, Anakin and Obi-Wan eventually have to start fighting each other. Just that alone is enough to make this level super cool. I mean, it's literally the final level of the 3rd movie, and it's the final level of the final movie if you're playing the original LEGO Star Wars, which just makes everything way more tense. Again, if you aren't a huge Star Wars fan, Obi-Wan and Anakin fighting each other is basically the equivalent to like Naruto versus Sasuke, or even Sonic versus Shadow, so this is a big deal, guys. The best part is you actually get to participate in the fight, unlike most of the other boss fights that are mostly scripted and you just force objects in their general direction. This is just a real fight between minifigures. Well, okay, to be fair, whoever you play as has significantly less health for some reason, which doesn't seem fair to me, but that's besides the point. If you're playing this level multiplayer, you actually get to fight each other instead of just teaming up on a CPU, which is the perfect decision to make here if you're asking me. On top of that, if you're in free play mode, you can actually just make Anakin be Jar Jar Binks so that the game makes you kill Jar Jar Binks to complete the level. Alright, after saying that, I'm starting to realize I should have just spent this time convincing you that there really are 3 better levels in this, because now everyone thinks that this is the best level. But like usual, everyone is wrong! For the 3rd best level, I've ironically decided to make this the only entry in the top 5, not from Star Wars 3, just to make you guys mad. But I could be lying about that, so stay tuned to find out. The 3rd best LEGO Star Wars level is the pod racing level. Now, I've heard there are a couple of differences between the pod racing level and the original LEGO Star Wars and the one in complete Saga, so for this entry, I'm just gonna go ahead and say I'm talking about the original version just to avoid any confusion. Vehicle levels are something that LEGO Star Wars initially got right, but then convinced themselves to change everything about until it eventually became the worst levels in the game. This is one of those few good vehicle levels that managed to release before the unfortunate transformation. The controls are crisp, and since it is a race, it's fairly hard to get lost or confused, which is a common symptom of playing the future vehicle levels. This level was also made back before vehicle free play was a thing, so you're able to get all 10 mini-kits during the story mode, which is very nice. The goal of this level is to beat that Sebulba freak, while these other weirdos start shooting at everyone in the race for practically practically no reason. I mean, look, I get that Tusken Raiders are bad guys or whatever, but is this not an official event? Where is the security staff? My goodness gracious, this entire event is a disaster. I mean, holy cow, kids are being shot at by terrorists and no one is doing anything about it except for watching happily from the stands. The event organizers should be ashamed of themselves and fired on the spot. I mean, come on, man, this is worse than Astroworld. The second best level in all of LEGO Star Wars is one that I know people will disagree with me on, but that's okay because I secretly don't care at all. But I even more secretly do care entirely, so please be nice in the comments. The level I'm referring to is 3-5, otherwise known as the one where the clones have hoodies for some reason. I talked about this level briefly in my LEGO Star Wars review and how I don't remember this happening in the movie, so I assumed it was some deleted scene since weirdly, LEGO Star Wars released before Star Wars 3, which is crazy to think about. It turns out I was actually right about that, and this level is based on a scene that was removed from the final cut of Star Wars 3 shortly before it was released. One of the downsides of releasing LEGO Star Wars before Star Wars 3 came out is the fact that they had to use music from the other Star Wars movies for the Star Wars 3 levels. Now let's get one thing straight. Star Wars music is always good, alright? I mean, if you disagree with that, then you automatically are dumb. Level 3-5 plays music that is not from Star Wars 3, but weirdly fits the level better than anything from Star Wars 3 could have ever done. I mean, everything about this level is confusing, it really shouldn't have even happened, but despite all of that, this is one of the best levels ever made. In fact, it's the second best. Going from outside the Jedi Temple with all those weird hooded guys into the ruins of the once great establishment is pretty enough to look at on its own, but when accompanied by amazing level design, good music, and an adventure that wasn't even in the movies but still fits story-wise, you end up with this masterpiece of a level that has no business even existing outside of the fact that it just does. Man, what was that thing Descartes said? That's just how the universe be? No, that was Neil deGrasse Tyson. What am I talking about? Without further ado, it is time for the best LEGO Star Wars level of all time. Now let me reiterate once again that every LEGO Star Wars level in the entire franchise is fun in itself. Even the worst level ever made is still fun solely because it's a LEGO Star Wars level. But that being said, there still has to be a level that is simply better than every other level to ever exist. Surprisingly, this level is the complete antithesis of what would theoretically make for the best LEGO Star Wars level, but I highly doubt that this level cares about any of that crap. The best level of all time is 3-1, the ship level. Now you guys know I generally hate vehicle levels and mostly just the ones that show up later, but this level right here is more fun than 90% of modern day AAA titles just by itself. Now as a kid, this level was extremely difficult and I couldn't even beat it without first beating every single other LEGO Star Wars level from 1 and 2 as training just to get good at the game. But little did I know that training wouldn't matter at all because this level is its own beast. There is literally not a single level in all of LEGO Star Wars that is in the same style as 3-1, and that fact has nearly driven me to suicide on multiple occasions. But my unstable mental health aside, this level is just amazing. I mean, you can fly, shoot lasers, what else could you even want? Just like the pod racing level, this was also made before the invention of vehicle free play, meaning that you are able to get all the minikit canisters on your first run in story mode, which is just another plus. Blowing up entire ships and obstacles in your way is also some of the most satisfying looking things you can do with Legos in general, so of course that's going to be an amazing addition to this level. You even narrowly fly through the hull of one of the ships while your partner also flies in the same tiny hole. I haven't seen two things fly through a hole that smoothly since my 2 fingers went into the shirt pocket of my math teacher before he sent me down into the trenches of ISS. I honestly don't know what else to even say other than this level is just the epitome of fun, and if you've never had the pleasure of playing it yourself, I would highly recommend dropping everything you're doing just for a chance to experience this heavenly level. Or don't. What do I care? I'm not your mom. Well, those were the best levels from LEGO Star Wars, and I know some of you guys are wondering why the Geonosis Arena level from Star Wars 2 did not make the cut, and that's actually because it was banned due to having an unfair advantage for letting you unlock Padme Claude. And that's just a whole can of worms I don't want to get into, and I'm not even qualified to get into it, so it's a good thing we didn't open it up, right? Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, please let me know, and I'll plan on making a top 10 worst levels video soon. For LEGO Star Wars, of course, obviously. I hope you didn't think I meant something else, but anyway, just let me know if you'd want to see that, and maybe I'll make it.